What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Justin Davis, and today we're gonna check out the OMPHOBBY M2. This is an insane little micro heli that is full collective pitch, and it will go from mild to wild. What's cool about it is that you can fly it as a beginner. Dare I say a beginner. It does come with a controller that you can get with a ready to fly bundle. You can also bind it up with your Fpv Radio or Spectrum or any other radio out there that you know how to program for a helicopter. It does have a built-in flight controller with all the different flight modes on here, beginner stability all the way up to full agility mode. So you can do full 3D with this little heli, and it is quite insane. And what's going to be fun about this review is you're going to get to see me just about stuff it several times in this flight demo. So let's go ahead and get the M2 up in the air, and I'll show you what it can do on the 3S 650 milliamp battery. Here we go.
Okay guys, there are three colors, orange, purple, and yellow. I have the orange one. You also have the option to get the M2 transmitter. It's not the greatest, but it is mode 2 and mode 1 optional. And it has a decent case, which has tons of accessories, and the M2 itself looks really good. Now it also has a bind option on the side of the flight controller. You can press that bind button, turn on the transmitter, you'll hear it beep, and it has Spectrum and S-Bus receiver options as well, which is super cool. So you don't have to fly it on that radio. You can use any radio you like. But let's go ahead and get this heli up in the air, and I'm starting off in the beginner stability mode, but you can hear the motor on there really wind up. It is really wound up on 3S, and I would almost like to see what this heli was like on 4S. It'd be totally insane. But I am a average sport flying mild 3D flight pilot. I wouldn't say that I'm super amazing or anything, but I'm gonna try some mild aerobatics with this heli. But starting off in beginner mode is a lot of fun. It does also have an idle up mode on the left hand side of the transmitter, and you can put it into idle up, which means that you can fly inverted and do all that crazy stuff if you go full 3D mode. But to start with, we're going to play around with just some forward flight. And a lot of times when you're learning how to fly a heli, they always tell you to do the hover basics. They want you to hover tail in, side to, and then nose in hover. And if you learn that in the full unstabilized mode, you're going to be a much better 3D heli pilot. But it does have some nice boost. I'm loving the fact that this heli it's like the 3D heli that I wanted 10 years ago. I wish they had something this nice that long ago. We had the T-Rex 150 that everybody was flying back then, and Blade came out with a few. They were pretty fragile. If you ever flew any of the Blade helis, you know that the parts are cheap, but wow, I almost stuffed it right there. That's my almost crash number 1, and I'm flying in the higher rate mode now, and I just wanted to see if it would do a nice big loop for us. And be super careful in that sort of high rate mode on this transmitter. It doesn't go into full 3D. Normally I can just sit there and do flips in one spot, but this really has some pretty mild rates on here. So if you want to dial it up, you're going to need something like a Futaba or a Spectrum transmitter. But man, check out the pitch bumps on here. That's looking pretty good. And I kind of knew what I was getting into with this review. And there's a big aileron loop right there, coming back down to about 10 feet off the ground. That's how high those rates are set on this transmitter. So I'm not going to be doing any crazy TikToks, although I may try one here in a minute or two, just for fun. And I really wanted to fly it inverted, but I'm going to have some major altitude to be able to get this heli to flip upside down. And right there I hit the kill switch. So we did a quick auto rotation into the ground. But I should be able to take back off. It had Dandelion caught up in the tail motor, and that tail motor is pretty good. If you are a more advanced pilot, you can do some pretty amazing things. It holds better than some of the other brushless tail motors I've seen on smaller helis. They tend to blow out and end up having your helicopter spin around in circles. Now I'm going to try to do that TikTok coming up here in just a second, and I'm just lining up for it now, playing around with the tail, and I'm just going to go ahead and pull it back here and see if I can get into one. It does feel pretty loose, but I feel like it definitely needs more throw in that high rate mode on the transmitter. And there I go into that TikTok, and bam, the classic spin out. So went into a spin out, and yeah, now we're gonna see how the durability test did as far as a straight down crash into the ground. Just gonna look it over. Tail boom looks good. Got one little bent rotor back there, and actually the tail rotor seems to be, the prop back there seems to be pretty good. It just bent. I was really hoping that they gave me an extra tail rotor in the box. You only get one, which is kind of a bummer. But everything looks good on here. That's awesome. So check for durability test. Let's go ahead and get it back up in the air. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and take off again out of the grass here. I recommend taking off the pavement. If you're a beginner, try to take off on the pavement. Now I'm in that super high idle up mode, and you can see it's even crazier now. So if you're somebody that really is good at 3D, you can do all kinds of stuff with this little heli. It'll do funnels, TikToks, every 3D heli move that I can think of, this little heli will do. But again, it can get away from you pretty quick because it is a smaller heli, and outside of stability mode, I know that I will put this heli in from time to time. And the good thing is that the landing gear, it actually has a little bit of give to it, and when it crashed earlier, it bent out to one side. Other heli gear, that's the first thing that breaks on the heli. So I was lucky today because I had a pretty good smackdown with it, and the landing gear didn't break, which is amazing. But I like the power combo on here too. The motor seems to be really good. But it flies like a larger heli as well. It flies like something like a 300 class heli. It really has a nice, stable feel to it. The flight controller is actually pretty good. I wouldn't say it's as good as you know, some of the Beast series flight controllers or the Icon flight controller, but it's nice that you also have a bail option on this heli. So if you're flying 3D and you flip the mode switch back to stability, if you think you're going to crash. Earlier, I didn't have the time or the quick thinking to switch into stability mode when I was falling earlier out of that TikTok, and that's something you're going to have to work on. Think about that bail switch. It will save you. But we had some pretty good near misses there today with this heli. Almost smacking down into the ground several times. Again, I have no business flying this heli in full rate mode, and there I go again. Very close to crashing again. You just have to play around with this heli, and man, you have to really keep your eyes on it because it will come back and smack you. But for beginners, again, guys, this might be something for like your second heli, I would say. Quite fast and nimble for somebody who's new. Even though it has stability mode, it can be quite deceiving because you're going to get interested to flip into those other modes, and just you have to be 100% ready for that. But it makes me feel like a better pilot with those really mild modes on this transmitter, flipping down into the higher rate modes. And again, they have it softened up on this little mild, like a quick auto rotation there. And I love the way helis look spinning down. One of my favorite things. Awesome. I had a lot of fun with it. I'm happy that I didn't destroy it, because I honestly thought I was going to put this one in for you guys and really do a serious durability test. But it's always good when you take home a 3D heli still in one piece at the end of the day. That makes you feel good. Same thing with airplanes and quads. But thanks again for watching my channel, guys. Please do subscribe. This has been the OMP Hobby M2, and I'm going to give it Definitely 2 thumbs up for the design and the performance of this heli. You can check it out in the link below. Guys, I'll see you on the next one.